It's been a gray couple days here in central Appalachia. So, I want to tell you about my process for this vlog. There are two main points to it. The first goal that I have that's guiding me through this project is trying to document everything. And I don't mean everything. As you can tell by my vlogs, I skip a lot of content. You know, there haven't been a lot of shots of me in my office typing, for example. But I am trying to capture what I'm doing, where I am, and why it matters. So it's this documentary process that's really guided a lot of my vlogs so far. I feel still in the intro phase of my vlog. I don't feel like my audience really understands everything that's going on here and has it as much as I'd like. So that's why I keep kind of returning to things that are happening in my community, things that I'm doing for VISTA, etc. But the second part to my process is I'm constantly looking for topics of interest that I want to go further in depth with, and themes that are developing. One that I'm really interested in is the history of VISTA, because this is one of the first places, like I've said in my videos, that VISTAs serve. So I want to touch on that some more. I want to do some more research. I want to look into that. I want to talk about that. I want to share that. So I've kind of been flying by the seat of my pants so far. There are interesting things going on, like traveling for work or big community events that I really want to document. But at the same time, I'm trying to plan and do research and prepare for some kind of next level topics and videos. How do I break down my time? I probably spend 10% of my time planning, 30% of my time shooting, and 60% of my time editing. Like I said, have kind of just been recording things as I go about my daily life, so the planning part of the process hasn't been taking up too much time at this point. Shooting, I overshoot for sure. Like I showed in one of my videos, I sat down to create the video and I had over an hour worth of content, and I was like, oh, this is the worst, this is a nightmare, you know, shooting for a 3-minute video out of an hour worth of footage. I can't believe I cut it down as much as I did. So I will shoot multiple takes of the same scene. I will shoot long takes and cut them down. Basically, because I've been trying to capture things that are going on, I try to do as much shooting as I can, get as much content as possible, and then just, again, kick that time to the editing, plan to cut it down in editing. So my goal is to have too much content rather than too little. The longest I've probably spent editing is a couple of hours. I know that Casey Neistat, however you say his last name, he said he spends from like 2 to 7 hours. I definitely haven't gotten anywhere near 7 hours yet, but 2 hours is pretty reasonable. And then I do have vlogs that come together a lot quicker than that. My cat Iris helps me edit, which makes the whole process easier. So, let me show you the gear that I use. This is my camera. It's actually just my smartphone. I am a huge proponent of the idea that the best camera you have is the one you have on you. And that's why I love shooting with my smartphone, because it's always on me. Now, it's nothing fancy. It's a couple of generations old, but I have it on me. So that's what I use. This is what I use to edit my videos. It's a desktop that I literally built out of garbage. A friend was getting rid of a couple of computers that were way better than what I had at the time, so I spliced them together, and this is the Frankenstein that I have. It's nothing fancy, as you can tell by the fact that it's made out of garbage. Patches seems to be a fan of it. Well, no, Patches doesn't even like it. It's about 5 years old, so it's really nothing fancy, but then again, I'm not really doing fancy things with my videos, so I don't need that much horsepower. So, I'm running Windows 7 because, again, my computer's old, and the program I use to edit my videos with is Windows Movie Maker, which is free on all versions of Windows except for Windows 10. They made it a paid program on Windows 10, but I also think they made it better. So don't be discouraged if you're on Windows 10. It doesn't come pre-installed, so you do have to download it from Microsoft's website, but it's super convenient because I don't have to pay any money. It's also very, very user-friendly. Now, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't necessarily recommend using this program if you don't already. It's pretty basic, pretty limited in what it does, you know. You throw your clips in, you can cut them, you can splice them, you can add music, that's what this green is here, you can add text. There are fades, there are very minor animations, but I personally feel a bit limited by the program sometimes, but it's what I have, it's what I know how to use, so I use it. I haven't played with the YouTube video editor yet. One of the biggest reasons I haven't tried it yet is because I have extremely limited internet access, and the internet that I do have access to is really slow, so it's a lot easier for me to do everything locally, just put my files on my computer, mix it all up, and then take it to a place that I have internet, rather than trying to mix everything live on the internet. Now comes text and music. I kind of use both to highlight. For text, I draw my inspiration from Adam Curtis and early image macro memes. I go for big and bold and cheesy and kind of in your face. I think it's kind of funny. That's the main reason I do that. I can't really figure out how to artistically integrate text, so I just don't even try to sneak it in. I try to play it up and make it kind of campy, if you will. I kind of use the music and the text together to create what I would call my brand. There are things that I repeat, you know, I use the same clip of music at similar times. I kind of have a cut of the song that I use for the intro, a cut of the song that I use for the outro, and I'll sprinkle it into transitions as well. And the text I use to kind of add value. If I want to comment on something, if I want to explain something that may not be obvious to viewers, I throw some text in. Sometimes I throw it in to try to make it funny, but mostly I'm trying to explain further than the image can by itself. Number one piece of advice I would give to any of you is play to your strengths. As you can tell, I don't have the best camera, I don't have the best computer to edit with, I don't have the best editing software, I'm not the best editor, but I don't aim to produce videos where that would matter. I'm not trying to shoot the most beautiful or technically impressive video. I'm trying to capture what's going on, and I'm trying to rely on my content. For me, my service comes first, and I don't really have the time or the resources to be YouTube famous from this project. So I don't try. Instead, I shoot while I'm serving, and I throw things together for fun. Some of you have amazing cameras. The shots are so crisp, the motion is so fluid, I am super envious. And some of you are really good at editing. I have no idea how y'all do some of the things that you do, but they look really good. But that's not me. So I try to rely on the fact that there are really interesting things going on in my community, and I'm involved in a lot of them. I get to do really cool things, and I just try to highlight that rather than my my gear or my technique. I try to rely on the content. This video, for example, it's dark and rainy outside, so I'm super limited in terms of settings. So my thought process has been, what sorts of things are there around here that might be less boring to look at than just my face? So I'll shoot in my chair, I'll shoot on my couch, I'll shoot next to my bike, anything to just mix it up a little bit. So my advice to you is figure out your strengths and just play to those in your videos. Focus on those strengths in your videos. Are really good at composing shots, then compose beautiful shots. If you are really good at explaining things, then by all means explain things. But I don't feel like those are as much my strengths as getting into interesting situations. So that's what I try to capture in my vlog, is the things that I think are interesting in my life, because I hope that other people will find them interesting as well. There are three main things that I want to work on going forward. The first is sticking to that 3-minute time limit. That's been a big challenge for me personally because, like I've said, sometimes I end up with as much as an hour's worth of footage, and I like all of it. So it's hard to cut that down to 3 minutes, for me at least. Another thing that I want to work on is producing thumbnails for my videos. I definitely believe that thumbnails can make a difference in traffic, and I want to take advantage of that. The third thing is distribution. I have a Twitter account set up for this project. I have a Facebook page. I had an Instagram, but I haven't posted anything on that in a while. I set up an email address, and I'm really trying to get the word out there in as many ways as I can. And it's working all right, but not quite as well as I'd hoped. I mean, this project hasn't exactly gone viral. So I am looking at different ways to increase traffic and really get the word out. Now, before I go, I want to share my thoughts on the project so far. I want to say thank you, Michael, for organizing this and making this happen. It's been an incredible experience already, and I'm so excited to carry on with it. You know, they tell us in PSO that the cupcake phase will end and things will get difficult, and they definitely had at my site. And this project came along at the perfect time, and it's really made me feel more connected to VISTA as an organization. It's made me feel more connected to other VISTAs. I've met people who I wouldn't have otherwise, serving all over the place, doing great work in all kinds of communities. And the ability for us to work together is really valuable to me, and it's had a really positive impact here in my community as well. I've met new people through it. A lot of people in my community are just giving me rave reviews. You know, they're really excited that I'm vlogging. And it's a wonderful experience. So thank you for pitching this idea, for getting us all together, for making this happen. And thank you, all of you other vloggers, for making such awesome videos, for taking the time to share what you're doing, and I don't know, being brave enough to put it out there. I love it. I can't wait to see more videos, and I'm so thankful to be a part of this project. Thank you very much for letting me regale you with the tale of how I produce my vlogs. If you'll excuse me, I have a date with a fresh cooked pizza. So I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.